You know, when people watched Takeover Dallas and they said that WrestleMania was not even going to be half as good, or at least we're going to struggle to be, they were right. And they had no idea how right they were. Oh my God. Oh my God. This show. This show. And I stayed up to watch this live. And I don't even know it, by the way, but I watched this live only because my sleep schedule is fucked. If I'd if I'd been legit just waking up to watch this and I'd seen Zack Ryder win a title in 2016, I would have realized what this show is going ways in directions we can't even imagine. I'm not even going to start with the pre-show match. The pre-show was depressing in the sense that there was barely any people in there, and so all the matches seemed kind of half-assed and half-baked, and they were meant. There was only one good match in the bunch, and good in quotation marks for being the Usos versus the Dudleys. Ryback versus Kalisto was okay. It was bad. And the Divas match was expected going to be. We need to get Eva Marie, Brie Bella, and Alicia Fox out there. At least Eva Marie and Alicia Fox, because they can kill someone. I mean, we need to stop these women. Thankfully, we had another women's match today. Anyway, let's start from the beginning. The ladder intercontinental clusterfuck, which should have been Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn, because that would have been a more interesting match. And it would have been a better match, and it would have had a better build-up, and it would have been WrestleMania already. But yeah, they wanted a ladder match for WrestleMania, I suppose. And since you can't have money in the bank, this was what they came up with. Fine. And the match, had Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, and some dudes, like Stardust and Sin Cara. Sin Cara, the one without the championship, got a spot on the Mania card, while the United States champion was left to the pre-show. Depressing there. Yeah, The Miz. The Miz. And The Miz was thankfully treated like the dweeb he has just become, like in storyline, in kayfabe here, because he has nothing left. And that's Stardust, and poor Stardust. Poor Cody Rhodes. And then Zack Ryder was filling in for Neville. Or, Adrian Neville. Like, they need to have this stop with this fucking one-name thing. Anyway, besides the point. And Dolph Ziggler. Zack Ryder won. It was a completely decent match. Not memorable. Like this Owens was great. Zayn did good stuff. And, the others were decent. Zack Ryder won. Zack Ryder won. And I saw someone actually on Lords of Pain call that, by the way, and the My 2 Cents predictions. But Zack Ryder was really... And I don't mind Ryder, actually. He's fine. I actually respect him because he's smart enough to being the first guy to use social media to his advantage. Get himself over, and WWE hates people they have not carefully approved to get over, so it didn't work out in the end. But still, that was nice. I was impressed by that, and he's decent, completely decent, and he has a good amount of charisma, so fine with that. Match was completely. It wasn't a memorable match. It was a completely decent match. No particular spot botches or anything. Everyone did what they should. And it felt more like a normal pay-per-view match, but it worked. Then you had AJ Styles versus Chris Jericho. This was a slower match than I expected. It was a good match. Good match. Of course it was. It's AJ Styles versus Chris Jericho. We all knew that. Chris Jericho won, however. AJ Styles came in the Royal Rumble and they got beaten down for 30 minutes. The phenomenal one. Then he came in and beat Chris Jericho with a roll-up pin. Then he lost to Chris Jericho clean. Then he beats Chris Jericho at Fastlane. And then they have a tag team for 2-3 weeks. And then that tag team gets split up. And now AJ Styles and Chris Jericho are having a match. And Chris Jericho beat him. So they're 2 for 2 now. 50-50 booking. Yay! That's going to get them both over. Chris Jericho is for the past 4 years, his entire purpose has been to come back and lose. No, sorry. 5 years. He did return in 2011 after all, late 2011. But yeah, came back. He comes back to lose. Isn't that great? And comes back to lose. And AJ Styles is truly phenomenal. He managed to beat the guy that lost to Fandango on WrestleMania occasionally. Occasionally beats him. He's not been winning that much beyond that, really. Really, that's phenomenal, man. Really, that's what a great wrestler he must be. And I know people know it's fake, but you get that. It's a subconscious thing. You don't want to see losers. For the most, yeah, you don't want to see people that looks like complete dweebs and losers. And Chris Jericho was dominating the feud, or at least had the upper hand for most of the feud. And AJ Styles lost clean as a sheet to Chris Jericho. I mean, AJ Styles managed to one up Jericho several things. Nice psychology there, but suddenly, Chris Jericho kicks out of Styles Clash and breaks out of his submission finisher. The heel does this. And then Chris Jericho code breaks him from midair and he loses. It looks like a complete, and AJ Styles ends up looking like a complete utter dork. 50-50 booking at his best now. It gets none of them over. I mean, Chris Jericho doesn't need to get over because he's already a legend in the eyes of the WWE fan base. So this is just business as usual. While AJ Styles, when he's built himself up, he loses. Yeah, excellent. Perfect. And then we go to the New Day versus the League of Nations. And I thought it was going to be the match that pissed me off the most. God, I was wrong. This match served to bury the New Day, which is the hottest act in the company that isn't Brock Lesnar. And they're beaten by the most uninspired act in the company since the 2009 DX reunion. No, this act is more depressing, actually. Forget about it. The Spirit Squad had more of an impact than these guys. I mean, the Spirit Squad were fairly young and extremely athletic. They had that going for them. So despite the fact that they were pansy-ass man cheerleaders, and they still did a lot of teamwork moves and shit, so they had that going for them. And yeah, they've turned New Day face. I get that. I disagree with that direction because I know that they got over with the crowd and people cheered them, but the thing is, they cheered them because their act was being snarky, hilarious heels. Were being heels at the same time were entertaining. Turning them face, this act does not work as a face act. Honestly, it doesn't. I don't think it's going to, at least, because I think they're better as heels, even if the crowd cheers them, because honestly, they really don't care if the crowd cheer or boo anyway. So why the fuck would you care? Okay, the League of Nations won this match. The League of Nations won a match, and they beat the New Day. The New Day who beat down John Cena and the Dudley Boys, and Dolph Ziggler made them and completely dominated them at one point. Lost to the League of Nations. Yeah. The League of Nations is a faction who have completely given up and completely lost all hope for ever being Hall of Famers or anything. And I think two of them is leaving, or at least very important. At least Barrett is leaving. And you know what, Wade? Don't go to TNA or ROH. If you're going to continue with this kind of performance thing, try to get into UFC. You have a background as a bare knuckle fighter. I'm just saying. And you already have built yourself a name in the WWE, so maybe that will work better out for you, because going to fucking TNA is not worth it. Okay, sorry. They will make you a world champion, but it's not worth it. Oh yeah, bro. And then after the match, the New Day, no, not the New Day, the League of Nations, sorry, stand there, and Wade Barrett proves to be a mouthpiece, and You know, it's a good mic work. It wasn't a bad promo. Suddenly, three retired old ass fuckers come out to beat them down. You know, HBK, Stone Cold, and Mick Foley. And my God, it was sad watching Mick Foley doing this. Oh my God, that man is so ridden with past injuries. It was uncomfortable to watch. It was directly uncomfortable to watch the match take place. No, not the match, but take the beatdown place. And the dancing afterwards, because they beat down the League of Nations, which was really funny. Because while Alberto Del Rio and Sheamus are being beaten down because Weber got dragged out to the ring by New Day, Rusev actually holding his own against Stone Cold and beating him into the corner, and then he finally gets the upper hand. They do their finishers, toss the League of Nations out. Then the New Day comes in to celebrate. And they get, Kofi Kingston gets Shawn Michaels, the Christian Dynamo, to start twerking. And, Mick Foley tries to do a hip move thing, the hip thing that Big E does. And, that was really depressing watching. Like, my God, that man has bled for our entertainment. Kudos. Respect. And then we had Stone Cold, who was sort of participating, and then he put a stunner on Xavier Woods and left the New Day look like complete dorks while the Legends were drinking beer. It could have just... Okay, the New Day loses. Fairly clean. Fairly. Like, okay, there were some shenanigans, but they were also doing shenanigans. So it kind of worked, so it wasn't that much of an issue. And by shenanigans, I shouldn't say shenanigans, but they were also attacking their teammates. So it was a thing. Honestly, like, yeah. They lost. Oh, by the way, just to comment on something, New Day's entrance was funny. I'm not a big fan of the Bootios, but whatever. And then the League of Nations come out with the most uninspired entrance. Like, it was a Raw entrance, just with a longer ramp. Anyway, let's move from this depressing thing to Brock Lesnar versus Dean Ambrose. The story of this match being Dean Ambrose can't fight Brock Lesnar straight up. He hasn't a chance. So he has to use tricks and weapons. But Brock Lesnar outdoes him at that. He don't need to. He just beats him at his own game for emphasis. Dean Ambrose did everything to try to kill him with a chainsaw. I mean, Ambrose put more of a fight up than Reigns, but he had weapons at his disposal. And this was yet another one. Dean Ambrose is an idiot finish. With him, putting up this elaborate chair thing and managing to DDT Brock Lesnar. And then he goes out to get the baseball bat, the barbed wire bat, the weapon we've all been looking forward to. And then he, of course, misses hitting because it takes forever because he starts licking the thing. Starts making out with it. And then he goes into a ring to hit him. Brock Lesnar dodges underneath it, F5s him on the chairs, using the chairs he had placed there against him. And he wins. 1, 2, 3. Dean Ambrose ended up looking like a complete dork in the sense that, I get it. He lasted long. He gave him a fight. La-di-da. He still ended up looking like a complete idiot. And we didn't get any payoff for the baseball bat. It was completely unnecessary. They could have done this better. I don't say Dean Ambrose should have won, but Dean Ambrose, for one thing, they should have let him hit him with the barbed wire bat. There are ways to do that without actually damaging him. Have him beat him down with it, and then, they could have some kind of way that didn't make Dean Ambrose look like a moron. And have Brock Lesnar win. Then Dean Ambrose would have established that while he isn't as good as a wrestler as Brock, he still is a great brawler and is an extreme man that just is a crazy dude. The thing is that they haven't established that Dean Ambrose is a crazy dude. They established over the past that he's an idiot with a glutton for punishment. That's all they've established. They haven't established him as a dangerous threat or anything because he keeps losing. This is a trend, by the way, with wrestlers here. They just keep losing. And then we had the women's match. A glimmer of light in the horrible darkness that was this pay-per-view. A great match. Sloppy, but great. And I honestly wouldn't have been mad regardless of who won this match. I got a little annoyed that Charlotte won because I think it's very weird when the heel is going to be the one that ushers in a new era. I think Sasha should have won. Sasha Banks is a greater star of the three because she's just as good in the ring as any of them. She has much more personality and she's gifted with a voice, and she's even better. She's better at wooing than Charlotte, for fuck's sake. Not to say they aren't great. I'm just saying Charlotte has not been gifted with a great voice, sadly. I'm sorry. We're great. And, yeah. I mean, Sasha Banks has fucking Snoop Dogg come out with her. And I get that, you know, Charlotte got the fucking robe and the fireworks, but she had fucking... Look, she was the only one that had her theme song performed on the way to the ring. That's something they don't reserve just for anyone. So I think that, you know, that was weird. And, yeah, but Charlotte won. Good match. Better. They did a triple threat better than most of the men, and even main eventers have done. Like I remember back in like 2010 with Batista, Edge, and Sheamus, or something around the Orton. I don't remember the match, but had a triple threat number one contenders match, and that was shit. It wasn't Raw, however, but still, these had a great triple threat. It was a little sloppy, but they did a very good job. All of them. All of them good wrestlers, and Sasha ended up being protected. She still looks strong, and Charlotte, she still looks like she could beat Charlotte at any time. I'm fine. And then we have Shane McMahon versus The Undertaker. This match was fucking uncomfortable to watch, and you all know it. Of course, we had Shane McMahon come out with his mini McMahon squad, his three sons, right? I actually spotted Linda in the crowd when he was, you know, putting over the crowd. I was, you know, this interesting. Taker did his thing, and then it started with the match. You know, just fighting, but this match was fucking uncomfortable. Okay, we had Taker snotting and slobbering everywhere, and Shane killed himself for absolutely nothing. He jumped from the cell. Begged him not to what was happening. I'm just no, stop the match. He jumped off the fucking cell, and I know it's scripted. Oh, God, this match was just uncomfortable to watch. They busted their asses. Respect to both of them, and it wasn't a bad match per se. But it was as good a match you can get from two 40 to 50-year-olds, one who has not been wrestling since 2009. Yeah, I don't know what more to say. Shane McMahon killed himself for no reason. And, you know, he has a bad track record for jumping off high shit because it mostly ends up with him losing because of it. He looked like a fuck. Like, he was booked like fucking Dean Ambrose should have been booked, in a sense. Dean Ambrose, like, Shane didn't give up at any point. And, yeah. Shane looked like a valiant babyface. He should have won, however. And I know what I'm saying, Shane McMahon meeting The Undertaker, but if you're going to jump off the fucking cell at someone, if you're going to do that, it shouldn't be for nothing, okay? That's all I'm saying. And you can say, you know, Foley lost, but, you know, as Mankind when he did that. But he was tossed off, okay? It's a little bit different. Like, he didn't try to attack someone, he was inflicted with this, in a sense. And instead this was a match where Shane McMahon sacrificed everything, and he ended up, nothing. So he ended up being drilled, taken out by medical personnel. Thank God they did that. If he could walk, I don't know if he actually got legit injured, but I assume he must have, but I don't know enough about that sort of thing to know if he could, how he can do that safely or not. I mean, or of course you can do it safely, but I don't know how to the degree of safety this. Like, I mean, something must have. He must be bruised as shit, is what I'm saying, at least. So yeah, I got taken up by medical personnel, but you know, he didn't get control of Monday Night Raw. What has changed? They fucking broke the fourth wall. They shooted on us, seriously. But pointing out how much the product has sucked for the past 2 or 3 years. The fucking plethora of injuries and shit. And he was going to come in and change things. And they were just like, no, he doesn't. So, I mean, he killed himself. I assume he's not showing up on Raw tomorrow. I'm like, what are you going to do? Is he going to like, I want to get control again anyway. I'm going to get another match. He failed. It's a failure. He failed. And he killed himself for no reason, looking valiant, of course, but still, it was uncomfortable. It was an uncomfortable match to see. Like, his kids were standing ringside, for fuck's sake. But it didn't suck, at least. Have that in mind. Thank God it didn't suck, at least. Something good come from it. And then we have the Andrew Giant Memorial Battle Royal. For one thing, Baron Corbin should not have gotten a jobber exit. He should have gotten with his own music. It was weird as fuck to see Shaq get in there, but you know what? It was kind of nice. Baron Corbin was the right guy to win this, like out of all of them. Baron Corbin could have been on NXT more to be more polished, I suppose. But this point, he didn't have that much to do there. I mean, having him in a championship, like, no. I liked his get the fuck back to Ring of Honor gimmick, though. Like, you know, screw indie guys. Really. That was kind of the Vince McMahon, the gimmick, but that was great. I like that. And Young lasted long. And Corbin won. I like that. I like Baron Corbin to an extent. Yeah. Now, if you can just book him dominantly, not as a face, but just book him dominantly if you bring him up to Raw, and just keeping consistently growing in the mid card, being a force of reckoning, having him build himself up. Let him have the mid card title. This is what you could do. Use Zack Ryder for. Have Zack Ryder eventually, after having the title for a few months, face Baron Corbin. Have Baron Corbin kill him for the. You know, after Baron Corbin has just been a force of reckoning. In the meantime, then you have him with the Intercontinental title for like 6, 7 months. Have him be undefeated, not necessarily undefeated. Have him be consistently strong, however. Then you have him drop the title. And then you can take him to the main event stage if you want to. Just have him in the mid. Don't trust his opponent. Don't just... you know, I'm just stalling because I didn't want to talk about the Rock thing. The Rock comes out with a flamethrower, and WWE announced that WWE broke the WrestleMania attendance record. And then the Wyatts come out. Before I mean, Bray Wyatt looked stupid in that fucking human face outfit. But I like the Wyatt family. I really do. Wyatt is one of my favorite talents there. And he got utterly squashed. Eric Rowan lost in 6 seconds. And then John Cena comes back and they beat him down, and they look like they're done. They're absolutely done. There's nothing we can do anymore. The fucking Wyatt family has been utterly eviscerated. And could have let the Direct Row and have some offense just to protect the Wyatt family a little bit. All I'm asking, it's all I'm fucking asking. Have him give him some offense. Give him like 2 minutes. They could have done that. Give him a few minutes. Just give him something to work on so we can protect the Wyatt family to the extent, okay? I mean, Luke Harper against fucking Brock Lesnar had a better showing than this. Against Brock Lesnar. It was a more even fight. It was the most embarrassing. At that point, officially, I kind of just lost it for a few seconds. I don't remember what took place between that period and the main event, but uh, I don't know what I did. I don't know what happened. I just saw red and kind of just gave up on existence for a few minutes, and then I kind of got to myself again when the Triple H video package was starting, and then that or I don't know. I kind of rewatched it. I think I don't know. Maybe I paused. I don't know. Honestly, maybe I paused it a little bit. I don't know because it made the timeline doesn't make sense. I honestly don't know what happened. I just watched the thing. I wasn't live, but I watched it and then I skipped ahead because honestly I didn't want to watch this match. The video package made Triple H look so much cooler than Roman Reigns, by the way. And Roman Reigns comes out to the greatest plethora of boos I've ever seen. I've never seen anyone be humiliated. Like Roman Reigns was booed to the point that even if we go to the least smarky towns in existence, he will be a heel for the rest of his life. It was the most humiliating thing I've seen for the guy. They had to mute the fucking crowd mics when the WrestleMania went off air. It went off to an astounding silence. Look upon the main event of WWE and realize how much you have failed. Reigns spearing Stephanie didn't help him. Didn't even. I mean, the fans liked it, but then they realized it was fucking Roman Reigns, so they stopped. And Triple H gets a very cool entrance. Roman Reigns gets pyro. Yeah, he gets pyro. Excellent, isn't it? Oh my god! Charlotte had a better entrance in the end. And he won. He won the match. And then the pay-per-view ended with a plethora of silence because they couldn't keep the crowd mics on because they would have been booed. When people have already been booed like crazy. It was the stupidest thing I've seen. This was honestly the most depressing WrestleMania I've ever seen. Because the matches weren't bad for the most part. The main event sucked, but the matches weren't bad. There was some great ones in there, or some very good ones at least. But they couldn't book it. I was expecting a Paul Dempsey running because the results in the booking here was so weird that I could have been honestly would not have been shocked if Bull Dempsey came out and laid out both Triple H and Roman Reigns and took a complete utter dump inside his mouth. I would have expected that at that point. This pay-per-view was so weird. It was so weirdly and badly booked. Vince must be smoking something. I don't know what, but I think I wouldn't advocate for violence, but I think we might have to assassinate him. I know this is just me being tired as fuck and grumpy and having a headache. I feel like I'm having a fever after watching this pay-per-view. But I think that might be the solution. I think that might be the only solution we have left for this. I honestly, what are they doing? And before this, we had NXT Takeover. We had Shinsuke Nakamura versus Sami Zayn. A match so great that it put everything positive in this pay-per-view to shame. Okay, there was one thing I liked. One thing I didn't have any complaints about after this. And I was seeing the fucking commercial for the new cartoon show on the network because Ric Flair was humping a boulder. That was an accurate representation of Ric Flair's life in the 80s. Ric Flair humping a boulder. one of the only universally positive thing of this pay-per-view was that ad revenue. And I don't know if that ad was even funny. I was just broken down to the point that I just started uncomfortably laughing. It might not have been funny. I don't know. I honestly don't know. I was a broken man at the end of this. A broken shell was what I were. All is lost. Also, and the thing is, had this WrestleMania just had bad matches that ended up with bad booking, I wouldn't have been as mad, honestly. But this WrestleMania, despite what people said, actually had potential. A lot of these matches were good on the outset. AJ Styles versus Chris Jericho had AJ Styles won and cemented himself more as a babyface. This would have been great for him. Okay, good match, great ending. We had the triple threat women's match. Can't complain about it really. I have slight misgivings with the ending, with who won, but it was good anyway because Charlotte is a good champion, and she and Sasha is going to have a great one-on-one match, and put all of the other women to shame, except Becky and Bayley and stuff. But yeah, and then you had Dean Ambrose versus Brock Lesnar. Good on the outset. This could have been a great fucking match had they been better at telling the story and not had Dean Ambrose come off like a complete moron at the end of it. Even Shane McMahon versus The Undertaker. I did not complain about this match from the start. Like complain about this idea. I was fascinated by the concept for some reason. But they made this uncomfortable, slobbering snot fest that ended with him killing himself for no goddamn reason. Got nothing from it. Nothing. Then you had the Battle Royal. The Battle Royal, good winner. But yeah, that was all it was. I agree with the winner. Battle Royals are not good matches. Never are. It was kind of funny seeing Tanaka and Shaquille O'Neal and stuff, and DDP Yoga. DDP Yoga almost eliminated the fucking Ascension by himself, and that's impressive. Send the Ascension back to NXT where he can have some dignity until their contracts run out. Because this is depressing. They are depressing. And I kind of like the Ascension. They're not good, but keep them at NXT. Just send them back where they can be a respectable force and have some dignity. All I'm saying. Look at some other matches I can just rant about. Ladder match. It would have been better with Sami Zayn versus Kevin Owens, but the ladder match was okay. And it was weird as fuck to see Zack Ryder win something, especially since he was the shoehorn candidate. He was originally in this, and even. But whatever. What works, I suppose. And where up your boulder? This was so bad. This entire event was so bad because it had potential to be good, but we knew they were not going to pull it off. The Roman Reigns versus Triple H pay-per-view should have just been cancelled. Main event should have been. There was no way to salvage it. None. Not even spearing Stephanie McMahon helped him. And if that doesn't get you over, sorry, you have failed. And as I said before, WWE gaze upon your main event and realize by how much you failed. All is lost. All is lost. Yeah, I don't know what to say. These aren't bad performers, any of them, but they did so much weird shit and put them in such a weird position. I don't know what they were thinking. I think Vince McMahon must just be retiring, and he just wants to rub it. He just wants to make people eat his ass on the way out. I could, if he just reveals later, next week, that he was like, I'm done with the control of the company. I just wanted to make you fucking fans suck it one last time. You want Triple H? Fine. Leaving. Eat my ass on the way out. That would make more sense than if they legitimately thought this was a good idea. That the League of Nations beat the New Day. And that was the only match. One of the two matches that did not look good at the outset. And we knew were not going to be good. because no one cares about the League of Nations. We should have had Enzo and Cass versus the New Day. But that would have been the best option. If you're going to call someone up from NXT as well, you could have just called them up at the same time. And I don't have much more to say about this. Watch NXT TakeOver. It was a far better show with a big fight feel. Every match delivered, and it wasn't a depressing, slobbering mess as this show was. And yeah, Vince McMahon must be snorting some kind of cocaine. Some kind of crack must be entering his bodily part, into his bodily cavities, or I don't know that, or he's just senile, because no one could have thought this was a bad idea. No one. And by that, I'm closing off this fucking rant review. If you have not watched WrestleMania, don't watch it. For one thing, don't watch it. You don't get to. You're not allowed to, for your own sanity's sake. Don't watch it. Watch a fucking highlighted video on YouTube in a few hours. Someone is going to make it, and it's going to have some decent music on. Hopefully, that's all you can hope for. Watch the women's match if you can. Pirate it. Don't watch this. I forbid you. Signing off now.